stores and stuff, the gigantic move in one direction or another, which if you get on the same side of is good. And more often than not, that will work. I'll trade the indices account after that. So I don't mind the futures accounts being open. I think that's
I agree. I get that.
That gives you technicals and stuff, but I don't mind that. I just don't recommend any trading these everyone.
Yeah, I was firmly against it, but then I had conversations with some traders and just thought about it. Like, you know what? You're right. I am not against it having a open.
Order filled.
See traders learn the hard way in a sim environment or a safer environment. But I strongly recommend against trading during that time because of volatility and liquidity. And maybe there is someone out there that just let that play. And also, it's the futures market. We trade more than just the Nasdaq. I was kind of looking at this from a very tunnel vision, thinking Nasdaq earnings, this or that. And there's currency futures, there's gold, there's silver, there's copper, and some traders definitely find opportunities during that 1 hour. So yeah, I am now for it. I think that traders can learn in a safer environment and do it themselves. What is their own money? So next question I'm always wondering is, how does that process look transitioning? There's a lot. It's just, I would never recommend it as a coach because I prefer learning the hard way.
Order filled.
It's at 12:30 p.m. Central Time. Settlement price for gold is established at 3 Central Time by the exchange. So traders are technically allowed to trade that market for 3 hours after settlement has been established in that market. But again, it's trading at your own risk. You see, just like you said, you see the volume, you see the volatility dry up after that 12:30 Central Time. We're seeing it right now. It's pretty old.
Yeah. Talking about liberation, we could liberate the traders from that 1 hour.
I don't see the big deal either. I agree with you both make valid points, but yeah, ultimately traders should be allowed to make their own mistakes and learn from them. If you feel compelled to trade, you feel compelled to trade right up to the closing bell, if that's the way you feel you need to do it, then by all means go and do it and back until it's low line. Yeah, exactly. But I'm just be journaling everything and see what kind of results you get. If it's working for you, then mindful.
You asked me that yesterday, and I was just very passionate. Like, no, that sounds crazy. I want to see a trader do that. But then half the day, I messaged MD. I sent him a message. I said, hey, no, actually, I'm perfectly for it. There's why. So I figured I can have that conversation with you. Look at this market selling off 780s.
Just look at the time. And 50s. They have 50s and 40s, which I would be long for.
Yeah, I have reason to.
Looking at target of the 40s, possible bounce off of that. When you're in your VIP room, the rest of the pop squad, you have this conversation with them, you have these types of conversations with them. What are the hours you traded and should you be in the market?
I've been kind of a little more hands off rather than micromanaging, and seeing how these traders do is over the past 6 weeks, basically, I've been kind of like chipping away with one concept, and that's trade smaller. And I'm still not seeing traders trade smaller. It's just sanity to me for that, and so I always believe that less micromanagement is better. And I mean, I have this statistics right now. If you want me to put them up,
Sample. I was taking it through.
There they are. It's not just Pot Squad, it's the whole VIP, right? And it's interesting. I've been watching this. Like I said, from a coach's perspective, I still don't exactly understand what some of these statistics and how they're calculated, and what they might mean. But some of the things that I am watching is active XFAs. How many traders are in XFA? How many traders are in the active combine? And then the fluctuation, win or lose, previous full day. I don't want to see that big. I don't want to see $50,000 of like the little amount of fluctuation, the better. I told traders, if you're going to lose, I'm happy seeing traders lose, $200 or $300, and then happy seeing traders make for $300. What I don't want to see is these big sweeps where it's like minus $10,000, $20,000, plus $10,000, $20,000, because that's not consistent. We've been around this level most of the season. We've been plus 10,000, minus 10,000, and just hovering around there. And I've been watching these other teams have these huge swings where like one would be off like minus 50, then the next day they're plus 50,000. And so I'm happy with the way that the team overall is performing. Looking at it a longevity standpoint.
Order filled.
It's going to be interesting to see. Really interesting to see how many traders are going to be staying in this. One number that's always disappointing is the loss accounts, on how many lost accounts the team has had. 213, highest one is 222, and then trying to understand what it means, because the VIP team has access to a free reset, right, every month, or they have access to those benefits. So it's great for a trader to utilize that effectively to maybe trade a little bit more aggressive past the combine.
Order filled.
They are here. They can do that because they have the free account, the reset, they can learn. And so I'm still, as a coach, I'm still learning how to figure this process out on how to best effectively coach the team, or coach the individual traders during this VIP. If it was up to me, I would just tell everybody, trade one micro for 6 months and follow your process. Doesn't matter about the money right now. But then the goal is actually, they don't want to do that, obviously, and no one wants to do that. That's boring. You're not going to make money. But to me, that's the best way to become a better trader. However, I think for me in the VIP team, the goal is to get traders to pass and into an XFA. So before I was breaking 1 to 3 micros. Now I'm kind of okay with maybe 5, maybe a little bit more micros, not maxing out 5 minis, 2 minis. It's like, okay, trade a little bit bigger than I typically was working environment. You have the luxury of the VIP. You have the luxury of having that reset once a month. And it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch, like how many lost accounts versus how traders are doing. I'm not sure what this total account balance means, JD, whether it's XFAs and combines. I'm not really sure what this thing means. So maybe there's some questions on my end.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right.
Go
And
ahead.
I think it's my responsibility as a coach to work with these other coaches to see which data points are the most important for traders right now, because this takes the team as a whole. And as much as we want to like coach a team as general, I think it's also more important, if not just as important, working on the individual traders, right? Because VIP is going to come and go. But those traders are still going to need to trade and learn how to trade. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I've been enjoying this. I know the traders have been enjoying this. Traders come and go. We've been having conversation about traders that who's actually showing up for class, who's actually
Yeah, right.
being active and having conversations and trying to improve, versus those that join the VIP and they don't make a single comment. They're just here for the benefits and they don't do anything. And so
They're there for the
I've been
research.
having conversation like, hey, can't we just have traders, in on the bench kind of? So when a trader
Order
doesn't show up
filled.
or he's not active, we get them out, bring someone in, and that's willing to put in that work and have it like a real team, right? Hey, this trader's performing well. He's putting in the work. They're there every day. They're learning from their mistakes and they're active. And this other one, he just They're out on their own. We have no idea what's going on. They're not talking. They're not like they're not doing anything. Get them out. Bring someone else willing to be able to put in the work, and things like that. I know we're having conversations on is something I'm excited to see how this VIP team develops. See how these
Mhm.
traders perform in these VIP teams, and to see what comes about it as Top Step, has those conversations for the Top Step Trading League.
Yeah.
So a lot's going
Yeah,
on.
this is only season 2, and we're learning a little more every step forward that we take. I think we should actually put together like a program syllabus for some of these traders. Some of these traders came out swinging so hard they're putting up $17,000 in one day in 100K trading combine. Like I feel like
Wow. Yeah.
some traders got into this program without knowing what the rules are. There's a consistency target that you have to meet. I know, I understand everybody
Order
wants to hit a
filled.
home run once in a while, but you have to play the rules for what they are. 50% of your total profits can't come from a single day. You can't have more than 50% of your profits from a single trading day. So like
Order
you come
filled.
out, balls to the wall, put up a $20,000 winning day. Now you got to do your best to shave off half of that just to get into the XFA. It's some people. I don't
tell
think
you
some
what,
people
it's the
fully
same question we
understood.
always ask.
Yeah.
David, how would you feel if a trader passes a combine in 2 days? All right, would you be happy for the trader because they're now in an XFA? Or are you going to be a little bit nervous because they passed in 2 days and they don't have a solid process or plan? That's the
Absolutely.
question I've always asked since day one.
I would be absolutely nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be nervous.
And those traders were weeded out pretty early. We had a handful of traders, probably one on each team, close to it, that passed the trading combine in the very first 2 days, got into that XFA, and they were out of the program by the end of the week. Week 1.
Oh, there you go.
This is a 3-month program, This is a 3-month program. April, we're in our final month of season 2 of VIP right now, and a lot of these traders didn't make it past week 1. They were just looking for that free reset. They were looking for that quick payout, get into the XFA, get that quick payout, and boom, just
Order filled.
didn't go to a single
the
trading
coach.
class, never talked to their coach, didn't meet anybody else on their team, didn't do this, didn't do that. We set up the program as a learning experience, not just a make money for free experience.
100%.
Right.
It's unfortunate that some people abused it the way they did, but a lot of people are taking it very seriously. So those are the kind of people we really do want to attract. What's up, Dakota?
I agree. How about this
We just
short?
We just hit the 40s, 50s, I think. Right?
We did, and I'm trailing this thing down. I'm continuing to trail it down. My CYA
Just
is
exactly
75.
hit that pivot point at 47. So we break
That was your
that
level,
down.
huh? 47. Are you still?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the long off 47 right now?
If we did it, it's 10 points up, 15, 12, 13, 14 points up already. So we're taking profits for sure. But that was the exact pivot point. I mean, check that out. Perfect.
Yeah, so about me flying over to Florida and you teaching me that.
47 just paid 15 points, so I'd be out of the trade.
You'd be out, you think? 15 points?
Absolutely.
Done and done?
Yeah. There's 20 points. It's not even that. Look, it's not even. Just look at the technical. That's my point, right?
Order filled.
Look at my chart for a minute.
Oh,
I would have definitely taken 20 points.
This market.
We don't have them, David.
Right back down. Boom. That's okay.
Oh, we don't. Oh, when you refresh,
we-
David, we lost your charts.
Okay.
Look at this market just go.
Order filled.
I'm looking for these 30s.
That's why I would have just taken 20 points out of it. Okay, chart should be up.
This is a
Yeah,
decent
we
sell-off.
exactly hit the pivot point first time, went up 20 points.
Why?
Sitting right on the pivot point again, but we got room, Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
about
we got room
19?
down to 715, 720s.
What do you mean? It's nothing. If you're not going
I'm
to.
gonna
Way
take
to
this
pick a
100, 100 and
When you go later, yeah.
120 points here.
Might have
And
to
I'm out.
take it.
That's what I was
Alright.
looking for. Yeah, that's what I was looking
You
for. I was
might
looking
have
for
to
this
take it.
resistance zone.
Just like that, folks.
There we go.
You just witnessed a 120-point move, 120-point winning trade for number 5 on the big board. Everyone clap.
Absolutely spectacular.
Do we have an applause soundbite back there?
Please clap.
Really, that deserves one. That deserves a standing ovation.
Oh man,
Standing O.
this market. Who do you think you are? I am. I don't. That was a great trade, right? But no, you know what? I'm gonna celebrate it. I was gonna say doesn't make
Good.
sense because I hit my daily loss limit in my live account, and this is just a combine. So it's like, does it mean anything? And you know what? Yes, because it's the process. To me, it's the process. So I gotta celebrate it while I can.
Mm-hmm. Barely an uptick there. Looking at a 5-minute chart, 7 consecutive red candles.
Yep.
Right down.
Well, I will be long. The ES is at 56.89 for a trade.
56.89. Let's switch over to the ES.
That is 65 EMA on my chart. For a trade.
This seems like it's the fear before the liberation.
The liberation. We're going to be talking about the liberation for years to come, aren't we?
I think when we first came on, we said it's probably going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, and this is exactly what's happening. All the euphoria is being taken out of the market right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on 8 5-minute candles in a row down in the ESs now.
Here we go. Yeah.
I'd love to see
the libation for the liberation.
What are we being liberated from?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's why I still haven't figured that out.
There's a lot of questions about this liberation. Yeah.
We're getting liberated from low volatile markets.
Who's benefiting from this liberation? And
market makers.
Is it going to cost me money in the long run? Who's being liberated?
Right about that. Right.
We just tune in, find out. We're gonna find out. Tonight's gonna be insane. we're gonna see some after hours price movement. That's for sure. My biggest question now, David, is going to be what's going to be the reaction of these other countries? Like, is it going to be retaliation? Is it going to be that? I think is going to be the biggest question mark going into the next few weeks. Is how do the other countries react?
And that's why no matter what he says, there's still going to be a crap load of uncertainty in the market because that's exactly what's going to happen. You think everyone's going to stand by and say, "Okay, Mr. Trump, that's great. We accept." No,
yeah,
we accept retaliation. It's like retaliation, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
That's the unknown. That's the uncertainty that I have. It's like no matter what happens this afternoon, I think the reaction is going to be the uncertainty, and who knows? Maybe it's going to be another month or two until we get that clarity that the market wants. That Peter Tuchman has been preaching about. Is where is this clarity? When is it going to get here? How much clarity can we get this afternoon? Like, where is that clarity? It's one-sided, right? Like it
ain't coming today. I can tell you that right.
Yeah, tariffs isn't one-sided. It's not one party says, "Hey, this is how it's going to be," and that's how it stays. No, because you have a counterparty where you're having trade with, and I've been dealing with this with Mexico for a while now, and some of the Border Patrol agents, they have their hands full, and it's the same thing. It's like, great, one country says one thing. It's not a one-sided debate. It's not a one-sided negotiation. A lot of the uncertainties going to be coming out, hopefully.
There's going to be a lot to digest in the coming days, that's for sure. David Green, we've only got a couple minutes left here. Can you tell us a little bit about Wall Street Global Trading Academy, real quick before we get out of here? We'll throw your WSGTA.
I appreciate that. WSGTA.com. That's where we have our courses. 2 courses to choose from. Both include lifetime mentorship. We hang out with everybody every Thursday night, go over trades, talk about problems that anybody has. At this point, the courses are about 150 hours long. We keep adding stuff to it. So check that out. And before you check that out, come hang out in the trading room. Hang out for a week, and then if you're still interested, go look at what we have to offer. I don't want to sell anybody anything at this point. Come hang out in the room, and we'll take it from there. That's it.
Can you repeat that email one more time? It kind of broke
Order
up just a little
filled.
bit. I don't know
E
if
as in
anybody else
David.
knows.
E green, like the color, 927 at yahoo.com.
What
Got
time
it.
do you
I'm
have it
typing
start?
What the code?
What time does it start?
Oh, that's good. Good question. 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're there all day, every day, basically. So 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. Anyone who sends me an email, guys, I will send you a link over the weekend with all the information. You can pop in on Monday morning.
One day, I'll join you one day. I'll join you when I'm.
You're not
off
allowed.
air
You're
here.
not allowed to come in and get
8 a.m. is
And too
pretty early for
you.
me. It's early.
I usually have the room open by 7:30, and we start our morning meeting.
Okay.
Well, David Green's email is in the chat. Shoot him an email and get yourself a free week at Wall Street Global Trading Academy. Change your life. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. Coming up next, we got the return of Johnny D. I was just reading this line a few minutes ago. trying to come up with a spin on it. I'm not sure who wrote it. I'm just going to read it exactly as written. Johnny made a cool 4.2K in his live funded account yesterday, trading the NQ. That is no April Fool's prank. So whoever wrote that, thank you. And there you go. All right, stick around, folks. We're going to take a short break. David Green, thanks for joining us. Coach Dakota. These guys are going to both be back for a power hour later today. So make sure you are here for that. All right, guys. We'll be back in 2 minutes. TopStep TV. Let's go.
Said that he read the volume. He's excellent at reading volume.
So Jay, you're looking at.
I'm gonna hit the lockout button for an hour. Yep, I am, Hogue.
Yeah, I like that. So what was it? Was it?
F that up. I feel like everyone's learned that lesson once or twice. Trading from before they take out the balance. So I'm really happy with the new dashboard. But yeah, just trading micros, some overnight, some in the morning. Been doing pretty well.
Stuff. All right, we'll quick market recap. Then we'll do gold. Moving higher, new highs in gold, 31.73 now. We're about $4 away from new all-time highs in gold. We're seeing oil make new highs here, 71.78. S&P is drifting higher as well. Nasdaq just put in new highs as well, right there. New highs, 19,740. Oh, Dolby time. Are we just a range trend? What are we seeing here, man? What are we seeing?
I made a ton of ranges today. Something I was looking at was on these large time. I like trying to find the largest level that I can find. And then what I was talking about yesterday is like if like a daily ends up bouncing off of a level, then I want to focus on the daily candlesticks for my levels. So we bounced off of, I would say, like a daily / 4 hour level at like 19,340s. So I'm just looking for really, really ambitious targets. So if it's a daily level bounce, I'm looking for daily levels, and that means stuff way higher. So 19,753, that's the midpoint of the range we had between March 10th and March 21st. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. Look at hundreds and in 800s or even 900s today, just because it was a 4 hour bounce off of a big time. So I'm going to live in their world, which is large time frame, big bulls.
Big bulls, you said. Bulls?
Yeah.
Bulls.
Big bulls.
Bulls.
Big
Gotcha.
bulls.
Okay.
Yes, you.
When we were talking about those brass balls you had in your hand there. That
yes.
That's what you do if you're shorting this market right now. You know, take some balls for that, but I'm not quite ready to be short here.
No. Okay. All right, Chad, taking $40,000 out in payouts in the last month. Talk to us about your strategy. What's led to that? We're seeing new highs here in the Nasdaq as well as the ES. Talk to us about your strategy. Any setups you're seeing here?
The setups for me, I'm usually a range trader, but I will tell you that my Achilles heel is getting stuck short in these types of zombie crawls up or trying to think too much about fundamentals when, I do think a sell-off is going to happen. Maybe if it's been running up all day, it wouldn't surprise me if it was later in the day that happens. But usually for me, I get stuck in these. That's like where I don't do well is if I get stuck in these crawls up where I just think, oh, I can't keep going, and it does. So I try to stay out of this until I do see a break. Otherwise, I would only go long from here. What I tend to do, my best trades, and if you look at all the trading history, I do better in aftermarkets overnight. But in this particular case, I really love to trade the ES. I trade the M and Qs or NQs, but I trade a lot of times off the action of the ES. So I trade a 1200 SMA that it tends to really on the ES. I'll trade the NQ based on if it's bouncing from that 1200. Also use the 9, and that's on a 5-minute chart. If you go back, if I expand this a bit, and you'll see it bouncing quite a few times on the ES. I got to reset this view here, but you'll see it bouncing quite a few times. So I'll only want to be short if it's below, and I'll only want to be long if it's above. The other thing that I tend to do is try to stay away from like the fight, kind of like fighting VWAP. I don't want to be in the fight of where it's at here. So right now it's trading above the 1200 SMA on the ES, so I would only be going long, but very few micros to build a position. If I'm in a trend, I'm going really with kind of the best loser win strategy of just adding as it goes up. It's really hard for me to like visually see this and buy it at highs, but I do.
Right here, yep.
Adding to how do you do that as a range trader? What's kind of your system?
Well, this would not be my typical setup where I would trade. I mean, I will get in on this, but I would probably wait for to see a range. I mean, I was trading in the morning and I did okay in this sort of range. When this broke out, I got out and I hit a stop. I was actually up another 400, and that's also where I've learned, like, gosh, it's so tough. It's your ego, right? You're trying like well, maybe it's just going to be a fake out, and then later on you look an hour later and you're like, well, I'm glad I got out.
Ego's brutal in trading. It's one of the hardest things.
So yeah, and I don't know. I have a buddy, and he's the exact opposite, where he has a hard time going short, and I have a hard time sometimes going long. Especially if it's at the bottom of a range where I feel like it's falling off a cliff. But I don't know. I tend to do better in after hours. Otherwise, for me, mindset being on tilt. I've been working on an app for a while that takes the log files from all the trades, and it kind of syncs up with all of your vitals from your Apple Watch, and it will then basically alert you once it's done. It will alert you. It says, "Hey, this is when you were clearly on tilt. You were adding too much. You were, doubling down on losers," and then it will just simply send you a signal that says, "Hey, this is where your blood pressure's at now. This is where your stress and your sweat level's at," because we all know what that feeling is. Yeah, so I do some of that.
Cool.
Otherwise, during the day, I follow the Dakota moving average, which
gold coming in. I new all-time highs. Gold, new all-time highs. Gold just uptick at 31.77.
Nice.
Sorry about that, Chad. We just uptick the all-time highs. Did not make new ones. Sorry about that. Let's go to my chart there and uptick it. There we go. New all-time highs. Pew pew pew. In gold, 31.77, 30 cents. Sorry about that, Chad. But it just popped.
That's another one where that's another one I'd be really tempted to short, and then you just you get stuck in something later on. You're like, what made me think I should be short in this?
Yeah, that's the thing.
But there will be a day for gold coming up sometime.
When we make new all-time highs in gold, we've seen recently that we will see a sell-off after we do make new all-time highs. How far they want to take this higher? Do we want to test the 31.80s? We'll see. But we have been seeing a pretty decent sell-off after the initial run through all-time highs completes, if you will. But gold on the move now. New all-time highs in the gold.
Yeah, I am going to get one short micro, or not short, but long on the MNQs here. Just assuming that we're gonna. I also think it's great to get like even single micros, because if there's an itch to be in the market, like if you have the FOMO with one micro, because you can sort of get in, feel it out, don't feel like that overcommitment. And if it's not going well, you're not overcommitted.
Like a buffet, you can always go back for seconds or thirds if you're trading a micro.
Right.
What's your price, Chad?
Well, my price at the moment is probably going to be around 19,040, somewhere in there.
You think the short or the long? I'm sorry.
This could be one. This is a tough call too on this XFA, because this is one of those decision times when it comes to a balance, right? I got plenty of MLL. I got 2,500.
Order filled.
150K XFA. This is my 5th day trading it, and I'm up 200, so I've qualified for that. But this is one of those where I'm not really I don't want to take that payout because it leaves me with very little, right? So I got to have one banger day before I want to take that payout. And it's a hard decision, because there's also times where you burn an XFA and you're like, well, crap, I should have taken the payout when I had the chance. But this one, I probably would at least try to have a much nicer day before I start taking a payout on it.
Okay. Well, I already got the memo that you want. Nice job.
There's a few quotes I've been living by too. I think I heard them from you guys, or with someone. It was like, when you feel like taking screenshots, take your profits.
Oh, Dakota. Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think about that all the time. And I also think, like, when there's an intuition that says, is this a time to lock out? It always was the time to lock out.
That's how I feel about, did I move my stock break even? It's like, either accept risk or profit, but don't split the difference.
Order filled.
Yeah, this is one where I would probably put my stop is down here quite low, but I would probably add one more. I know we don't want to be adding to losers, but with a single micro,
Order
I would add
filled.
down here in this sort of, I guess, small support level. I trade on a 3-minute chart, and then if it didn't hit, that's my stop. So not huge, but the other thing that's been helping me too, especially on my larger XFAs, is setting my DLL and locking it up the night before the trading session.
Like that. So like
sometime really
between 5 and midnight. Get your risk.
Like when the market reopens, immediately set it. and then I don't have the option the next day to go on tilt.
Right. You don't have those. Man, look at this thing go.
Look at this thing go. New highs.
Wow.
New highs, yes. New highs, Nasdaq. Dow almost there as well. Right higher.
Order filled.
On this one. 19,776. Chad is long and 1 micro.
Yeah, I may add another if we get up to another, maybe back above the 18 and holding, but we'll see. This is a good example of a single micro. If you're trying to get your $200 a day, this is a single micro in what, 8 minutes that's brought us a quarter of the way there.
Beautiful.
I mean, with this volatility, there's micros are more than enough. I mean, what are we up today from bottom to current? Like 400 points? Sub 300?
Oh, just look at that. Yes.
400?
Day low. What's up, Chase? In the Nasdaq, 19,316. We're up 450 points. These current prices being traded. Look in the ES.
Not a lot.
On 56.10 in the orders. We're about 100 points higher. Trading 57.09.
Oh.
Hey, we're cooking, man.
No chill in Nasdaq today.
What is
it? 100's
yes.
20 points away.
Hundreds, man, oh man.
And this is where I have learned over the time to not get involved if I want to.
Order filled.
Like until you see a red candle, like why am I getting in? And in the past, I used to just I used to add too quickly. I used to, and I still do. Everyone, it's like later on you look at it and you're like, I didn't even see one single red candle. Why was I going short?
Am I short?
Wow.
No.
That's yep.
Do you find it's tricky, Chad, as a range trader to kind of quell that bias? Because if you're trading a range and it's in an uptrend and you're taking shorts, you're going to get filled on every single short at top of range, and it's just, it's brutal. Is that why you have that moving average on your chart to get you aligned with the market, your range trades?
Not necessarily. Honestly, I don't follow a lot of. If I'm range trading, I tend to be in it for scalping, and I tend to be lined up where, like, let's say I have 3 micros on both sides of the range, and throughout a 30-minute period, I might be long at times, I might be short at times, and it's just like bouncing off of them. Where I get screwed is when it eventually picks a turn, and I don't get out. By the time I've made the money in the range, that's done great. But then the moment it picks a side, and I refuse to, my ego gets the best of me, and I was like, oh, well, maybe it's going to be a topping tail here. Maybe it's going to, that's when I don't do so hot.
748. I slung from 748. Last trade 773.
We got a bid in at 747s on a pullback.
Okay.
May not get filled, but we'll see. Paper handed along at 730s.
I feel you.
Trying to ride this uptrend. Higher highs, higher lows.
That's right. I see any. It is zombie right now. Very quiet out of the White House. Got that in the back of my head. They not gonna get in the way of this market movement, is what I'm guessing. And
order filled.
What would be interesting if they came up with some deal. Like, can you imagine the market at that point? I think it would fly. I don't think they would, and I think it would. But I just can't imagine. In the past, when there's been tariffs, it's been like one day later. Oh, okay, we made an agreement. I don't think that's happening this time, but if it did, I can't imagine what the market would respond with.
Well, market's kind of pricing in. The market action might be thinking along those same lines. Chad, I know it's
still in range. Like, I mean, we're still in the range from all the tariff talk, kind of right in the middle of it.
I think there's also just a little bit of this. I wouldn't say short squeeze at all at this point, but I would say there's the idea that everyone's kind of expecting it. The contrarian view, like everyone's expecting this to drop because of that, and it's like burning all of these shorts up.
Could be. The market just wants certainty. Just rip the band-aid off. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're working 747s.
52s.
Did you pull Adobe?
I moved it up. We're gonna see if we can get long 52s. So it's kind of like the bottom of the 1 minute range within the uptrend. Half of that midpoint's right at like 750. So maybe we can get filled on a pullback here, or maybe we call the top. Who knows? Done worse. We've seen more painful things.
Oh, MP trade yesterday. MP trade.
Gut wrenching. Absolutely gut wrenching.
All right, Chad, back. Right back to entry. Yes.
I'm just gonna hold it here. We'll see. If I started to see some, I'd almost want to see a topping tail. I mean, like, yeah, the last 3 minute candle still made a new high. So
we
are in 752s. See
micro
hold. We're gonna see if we can get 2 to 1 here.
Mini, excellent. +1 NQ 19,752.
It's just riding the higher low line right now.
See that? Coupe is silver play. Pullback was a little deeper.
It's pretty deep pullback. Let's see how much further this goes.
We'll pull back in crude, top down to $71.91. Not trading 71 at 77. Gold pulled back about $4 after new all-time highs. 31 at 77, 70 cents. $4 off of that right now.
Yep.
Take a look at the ladder here. Dolby, you got CYA? I know we
37s. We are very close to it. Very, very close to it. What's your average hold time like for you, Chad? Do you like sitting in trades for a while? Yeah.
No, I will in a trend like this where I don't want to add too much, but in a range trading, honestly, I trade only one XFA at a time, and I tend to be in and out of the entire trade within about 20 to 30 minutes.
20 to 30, nice.
But I'll be going in 3s and 5s in that range on both sides, and sometimes I get burned, and sometimes the idea hopefully in the range is that I've made enough money, but by the time I get burned, if I don't choose the right direction when it breaks out, at least I've locked in some gains.
Yeah,
Smart.
yeah, for sure. Nice.
Back up. Was that a little pullback? Was that the pullback?
Well, that got literally within a tick of our stop. I mean, to the tick. We almost got stopped on that one.
That's kind of long. Chad long.
And with an account this size, I would love to be doing regular NQ contracts, but you can just get burned so quickly on a. And this is a 5-day green XFA that you can get to a good payout.
Yeah, that is definitely to think about. Managing those, trying to snag those $200 days.
Yeah, what's worked for me in the past is trading where I get minimum 250 and then 300, and then if I have the trade get in like the maybe 600 range, I will then push it to the limits of what I can do, but I'll just try to keep it at 200. And I get days of 5, 7K, 16K days that start out as $200, but when you have that wiggle room, it's nice.
Definitely. Breathing room. 500 candle. Let's hold this thing. That's a 740. I mean, look at the trend. It's
been good.
It is. No news. Quiet. It is
going out.
It's going.
I tend to think that slow is
order filled.
What's that?
I tend to think that the more slow it's going, the more long it's going to. It's the staircase up, elevator down, right? Like volume came in with one big. Yeah, I would possibly consider going on the short, but I'd have to see some topping tails. And this is a small dip in here is probably just a buying opportunity, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, we just got stopped out. This might
37s.
That'd be unfortunate. Yeah, or minus 300.
Don't do it. Back up to one of these trading's hard, man.
It feels like it just wanted stops right there. That's pretty rough. We'll see though. That plays out.
Yes,
it's a game of ticks, Trey.
Oh, don't be time. All right, we got a full day. In store here. Chad's still long. 1 micro.
Yep. Mine stops.
Chad, you have upside target. Yeah, what would you be looking for? 800s? Would you take?
Right now, I'm looking for a full rally on like 19. Well, I mean, the target right now is 19,925. But if I see it start to push above new highs, I might add another micro.
5s.
I mean, I'd love to be live going with 3 minis, but I don't want to burn an XFA on live.
Not worth it.
So it's usually too, especially if I have trades on overnight. It's like, how comfortably can I sleep? And in this case, I start to make my mistakes when I'm over leveraged, and I start to you always know that feeling. It's kind of a feeling of like that's when you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked it. Hey, talking about this app, if we do take a trade, so it's hooked up your vitals. It just coincides with
it's going to be called something like Trader Tilt, and so I'm hoping to do as much as possible with the Apple Watch. So this is actually tracking as much as you can, like all of your vitals in terms of sweat as well as heart, blood pressure, heart rate. They had to update the Apple Watch because of legal reasons in the U.S. There's some stuff it can't measure, but it's actually one of the best things it can measure is like fidgeting, right? Like if you're just like scratching something, or if you're kind of like rubbing, I don't know, scratching something, whatever you're doing, it can pick that up, throw that into the balance of, let's say you collect 2 months of that data as you're trading, then you export. I'd like to see and talk with you guys at some point about getting a live feed of the trades coming through in like an API or something. But it would be nice to do that. But right now, you export your trade logs, import it into a web platform that then really would tell you, all right, here's where you were clearly on tilt, right? You were clearly over trading. You had your worst trades on this time, and then it measures that against your vitals, and it says, the only alert you get at that time is actually just like you're on tilt, like a indicator on your watch that like basically alarms you with a small alarm that says maybe the last time you had this same sweating, whatever, that heart rate, you were walking around, you were pacing, you were fidgeting, you didn't go so well for you. So it's an idea of, I think it'd be great at the poker table too.
What if I get super hyped, like when my main man Dolby squeezed out $1,000 banger in the last 60 seconds, and I'm pumped, and I'm not on tilt, and my heart's racing.
Yeah. Well, and you could use it for that purpose too, right? You could say, when am I doing my best? And maybe that is when it is, right? You want to measure when it's not. Maybe when your heart rate's the slowest is when you're not doing the best. You're bored, and you're just like maybe just adding to boredom for the reasons of boredom, right? So, I do think it would be easier to measure, or it's coming out to be easier to measure when you export your trade logs versus if you were in Vegas or something, because obviously when you're on tilt in Vegas, you're not going to be logging your, look what happened at my last, roulette table. I put down double and started putting money on the field. You know what I mean?
We're all on tilt at the roulette table, though. We're all on tilt at the roulette table.
We're loving it.
It'd be cool that got a heart rate monitor built into TopStepX and just have it.
And I think not just heart rate, but maybe the other vitals, sweat, fidgeting, that kind of stuff, pacing. Yeah.
MYM daily high. What's up, Tova?
Or
Daily
tell you to
high.
go get a ham sandwich.
Yeah, ham sandwich. What if I start sweating during a ham sandwich? Is that just a great ham sandwich, or do I have a
Spicy
problem?
Maybe you
mustard.
put too much spice on the sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We might have gotten in that trade a hair early. Didn't quite have the consolidation.
Agreed.
I'm gonna add
We
one
got
more
stopped by
micro.
a
Just
tick.
kind of
We got MP. Got MP on that one.
Order filled.
It happens.
add one more micro here.
Order
See how
filled.
confidence as it goes up.
That's not your average price when you get in, Chad.
Looks like average price is right at 17.50. Let's see, average price is 17.54.75.
Nice trade.
What's
Chad
the
and
average price? I'm sorry.
demonstrating.
What's that?
750. What's the average price? I'm sorry, 755.
754.75. So
All
755.
right, cool. Thank you.
Basically.
Sorry, brother. What's up, Dolby?
Order filled.
I think Chad and I are just demonstrating the difference between trading an E-mini and trading a micro. Stopped out because of tight stop, with tight risk, but Chad's trading the micro, so he gets to live to fight another day and add to his trading size.
Yeah.
So very, very good example.
Yeah, normally I'm a 3 micro guy, but I don't know. In this action, the last few days,
Order
it just
filled.
makes it like it adds up quickly with these guys.
It really does. Some money with micros, a whole lot of money, especially with these ranges and the volatility.
Yes. New highs, yes. Daily highs.
You trying to do
Order
the same?
filled.
We're cooking.
We got stopped at 650, which was the exact low tick of that candle. That is wild. Game of ticks, Dre.
Yeah, dude.
Game of ticks. It's so frustrating. There can't be like a rounding error that just like, I don't know, not gold. I mean, that would be ideal. We would have taken a hit in our TP too. So we went from perfectly negative 300 to plus 600, $900 swing right there. From one tick. That's why we love trading. Love it so much.
Yep.
Chad, what puts you on tilt the most?
What goddess
Getting
there?
stopped by a tick, FOMO? Any
For me?
things in particular? Yeah, anything in particular that gets you going?
I mean,
Big games.
like when do I go on tilt? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, what gets you going?
Oh my gosh. You know what? Sometimes it can be as simple as like an argument with my spouse, with my husband. Sometimes it can be like, and I don't want to trade that day. I know if there's something going on like that, and it doesn't happen all that common, but I will go lock myself out. I've just kind of trained my mind to go lock myself out for
Wow.
a
Nice.
while, or even a day. Because then the other thing that happens is I then like blame my spouse for the argument and say, look what you did to us.
Yeah, right.
It's like, see, if you woke up happy, I would have been nice. So I would say, but intraday, or I would say maybe trading on a P&L instead of trading for the trade, which I know we all try not to, but it's hard not to do
Yes.
that. And then going negative and saying like, okay, if I was short right now, which I'm definitely much more on the bear side of trading. I just if you look at the stats, that's where most of my trades are. Maybe that's why I've done so well this last month. But I would say adding too quickly and then just kind of like almost like getting into this I don't care mode. Like
Order
crap, I've
filled.
already messed this up. I might as well. And then you start to make excuses for it. Like, well, I've already gotten a payout on this, or well, I got another combo. You know what I mean? Like whenever I go into that mode, it signals you're doing it to your on tilt.
Yep.
Yeah,
I will say this
that
too,
much chart anymore. It's just
the more confident I am, and this is on daily when I trade on another account that's for equities and stuff too, the more confident I tend to be. Like if I'm going to bet on a daily chart and I'm like, this thing is dropping tomorrow 100%, that is almost a guarantee that thing's about to fly up. It's like if I'm kind of on the fence, it's like, yeah, okay, I don't know. But if I'm just like, this thing's flying up,
Order
it's just about to
filled.
drop. On Friday, that was such a fake out, right? We're like, oh, it made new highs. This is kind of, and then all of a sudden, boom, one red day just knocked out. Yeah.
I think Hogan and I were talking about that. It's like the scary trade last ones, and it's like vice versa. The ones that are like the most conflict, those trades just do not do the best most of the time. Gotta have a little bit of fear involved for it to be a great trade.
Sure is. Man, oh man. Gold is selling off a little bit, pulling back. College 131.69. We got new highs in the Nasdaq, new highs in the ES Dow as well. Woof. Nice trade, Chad. Long from 754. 754, now trading 825s.
Yeah, up just on these two micros at 280, and I only added the second micro after I was already kind of in the green, so it's not bad. I may shed one or two. I may close this out if I start to see and just lock it in, get a better position. I also think time of day. I wouldn't be surprised with a sell-off near the end of the day, and if just based on the fact it's been rising so much, I could be wrong, but obviously anything can happen. But I don't know. Based on the last 2 hours, it wouldn't surprise me, and I'd want to be out.
Damn, man, we are in for one hell of an afternoon here. So in the afternoon, a lot of us people in Europe's evening. Europe, new highs coming into the lunch hour. We got lunchbox trading coming up next, and the markets have really started to pick up. Pushing higher. There is a headline: Amazon looking at buying TikTok. I'm not necessarily sure that has something to do with this, but hey,
order
Amazon
filled.
makes last minute bid to buy TikTok. This deadline looms.
Ooh,
still very quiet out of the White House. 3 hours to go.
Mr.
Mr. Beast ain't got the money for that.
All that YouTube money.
I do think the volatility is just like this is the first step of the White House because all the responses are going to be, all of the other European and Asian responses will be as much volatility as we're waiting on here.
Yeah, what are they going to do? What is the
3
response?
hours
That's a great
left.
question.
3
Well, we got
hours
close
left
to
till
those 80s. What's the
They
upper
tag
end
us-
of our target here?
they tag us at 37s.
Oh, 650 to the tick, to the
Yeah.
exact tick. I mean, this is Club MP right there, Trey.
Yeah.
Population
What's up,
2.
Brunella? It's right. Pull back here. It's 57.20 in the S&Ps. High 57.25. We got 3 hours left. Chad with the Gucci shirt on, long from 754, man. How do you
I'm
trade? You
a
trail
ball.
to stop? What do you think? You trail to stop? How do you do this?
Yeah, I may actually just get out here and lock in a few hundred. This is a longer count, and I'm probably gonna be too early.
Order
but sometimes it'll
filled.
come back down to an entry. I would feel more comfortable getting back in and doing the same thing. So I'm probably gonna close this out here. Lock in another
That's great.
200 for the day.
Beautiful.
Made
Great trade.
nice to close green, and $200 at a time is a good way to go.
Chad.
Nothing wrong with that. Those basics add up.
Smooth sailing, Chad. All right, we got lunchbox trading coming up. It's a David Green Wednesday. Interested to see what David Green's got to say. Got Dakota coming back as well. Then we got JD, Dolby, and Johnny.
Order
Rising stars
filled.
after that. And then
Sweet.
Dolby, myself, David Green, and Dakota for the power. Of course, at the buzzer, must watch today with the 3 p.m. Central Time reciprocal tariff announcement. 3 hours left to go until the closing bell. Stay tuned. A lot more coming up. We got lunchbox trading coming up next. JD, Dakota, David Green in this house. Nice trade. Chad, we got 500 lot here. 57.20 in the ES. Anyways, lunchbox trading coming up next. Top Step TV. Let's go.
Order filled.
JD is risen to be a key player and leader on the TV team. Stand out on air, both